I've always just thought I'd give a little bit of an update on the Spatz product that I've been using since the middle of last October. I'll start off with these. These are the Roadman 2 overshoes. Given that we have had, I think, a fairly cold winter, it's been the coldest January for 10 years, I believe. It was probably good timing because ever since I've worn these, I've never had cold feet. There were occasions previously using winter boots and other kinds of overshoes where below certain temperatures I would start to get cold feet. I've ridden these down to about -4 and my feet have been kept warm on every single ride that I've done. So I'm really pleased with that. Great sort of protective feeling all the way down the calf, which I think helps to keep your foot warm as well. They keep your feet dry. There was one occasion where I rode for about 10 miles in torrential rain, and after 5 miles the water had got in, but it was raining so hard I don't think anything would have kept the water out. So, I'm not too bothered about that. Even when they got that wet, my feet stayed warm, and that's the main thing. When I first got them and looked at them, my question was durability. What are they like durability-wise? So the first thing that I worked out, these were the shoes that I was wearing them under. Some Mavic shoes, but they've got quite a pronounced buckle on the side. Fits the overshoe absolutely fine, but one morning I was walking through the house and clipped a chair with that buckle, and that just made a tiny sort of tear in the surface of the fabric. I don't think you can see that there. It closes up when it's stretched out. I've got a repair kit for that if I need to. It doesn't let water in, but that was just something to note. So I then switched to these shoes, which have those little boa dials on the side and lower profile. The other thing, a little tear in the top of the shoe as well, just there. Happened when my dog jumped up and a claw caught the top of the shoe. So under sharp impacts like that, I mean, as I kind of expected, it is going to have an impact on the shoe. But those marks, they don't let water in, so I'm not too worried, I'm not too fussed about. So on the durability issue, this is something that came up on the right hand overshoe. If I open this out and stretch it, you can see the fabric's actually started to come apart there. So that began to happen probably just over a month ago. So I got in touch with Spatz, sent a few emails backwards and forwards, and they have agreed to replace these overshoes. It's just happened on the one side. Originally they said it was likely to have been caused by drying them on a radiator or using a direct heat source like that. However, I don't dry them on radiators. I just hang them upside down the same way around on two little hooks in an airing cupboard, hooked just under there like that. And overnight they dry out absolutely fine. So if you do have those, don't dry them on a radiator, because apparently it can cause them to crack according to Spatz. Other than that though, absolutely fine. They have been utterly brilliant. Only other little issue, you've got the Velcro closure on the bottom of the shoe there. It doesn't always seem to be that firm. So sometimes I find when I get in, I can feel these bits flapping around underneath your feet. So that's something else to watch as well. But I've been really impressed with them so far. And it's worth it just to keep your feet warm. They've worked far better than any other overshoes, winter shoes and things that I've used so far. I know there's a lot of noise around them. Some people either love them or they hate them. A lot of disparaging comments online about the way they look. It doesn't particularly bother me. I like the reflective detail because I commute in the dark. The more reflective stuff I've got, the better, really. And if I've got warm feet, bonus. Right, so that's the overshoes. On to these. These are the Neoz rain gloves. And again, I've used these a number of times. They are really for wet weather. They're not for cold weather. So it needs to be raining. The reason for that is they don't breathe very well, so that you end up getting pretty sweaty on the inside, which can feel a little bit odd actually. But when you're using them in the rain, they're absolutely fine. They do get wet, your hand gets wet, but they stay warm. They do feel, to me, I know everyone's circulation is different, they do feel a little bit funny to me where they've got the seams across the thumb. That might be just my physiology. Sometimes it takes them a while to warm up if it's particularly cold, if it's down around freezing. Again, that might be to do with my circulation. It usually takes a sprint effort up a hill just to warm everything up, and then they're absolutely fine. They're toasty and warm, even in pretty hefty rain. The only other issue that I've found with them is drying them out. So if you hang them up to dry in the airing cupboard next to the overshoes. The outside gets dry really quickly, but the inside doesn't dry at all. It's still wringing wet, so I usually find hang them up for a couple of hours that way around, and then it's a bit fiddly, but you need to turn them inside out and to pull the fingers at least halfway out so that the insides then dry out as well, because it's mostly sweat as well on the inside rather than it being rainwater, because this is waterproof neoprene. So it can be a little bit fiddly to do that, but other than that, they're absolutely fine for using in the rain. So I've been really pleased with them, and that's pretty much it. I'll carry on using them, and if there's any change, I'll post another video. But so far, I would say just about certainly worth the money. They're not cheap, but I've been really pleased with the performance, and of course the customer service, given that one of the overshoes has failed. So take it easy and ride safe.